Tippy time, my damies, Topgator here and welcome back to the channel. LMG's got a blanket 10% buff this season, but it's often surprising how such a small number can make such a large difference. Couple that with weapon specific modifiers and on any given Sunday LMGs have risen tremendously in stock. I've dubbed this strand build the Big Chew, as thanks to our exotic giving us endless supply of bullets, you'll be chomping out the enemy. Our exotic is the Actium war rig. This steadily reloads a portion of your equipped auto rifle or LMG over time. This can make damage cycles more effective as LMGs have some of the longest reloads in the game. Given the right mag perk and traits like triple tap and force times a charm, you can go through an entire 30-second damage phase without reloading once. But a build like this is only as strong as the weapons we're using, so I'm going to take a look at those first. There are a few strong picks like the Grand Overture. Xenophage can rattle off its full reserves in a blink of an eye, but personally I've become quite partial to the Heir Apparent. Its damage may not be burst damage like the Grand Overture, but because over the entire damage phase we don't lay off the trigger once, we can actually stack that damage high. And with Strand Warlocks being very popular this season, there is noticeably less whales around. So the Heir Apparent shields allows us to deliver damage whilst living safely inside our shield. Not to mention solar surges around every 2 weeks that'll really push this over the edge for an additional 25% damage. The Commemoration has long been a favourite of mine, but when the Deepstone Crypt got updated I managed to get my hands on a Force times a Charm and Focus Fury. But of course the Escapade is also a stupid good void option. But all these weapons I mentioned are swap twos. The main one I'm using here is the Circular Logic. Now I've yet to get my gold roll. I'm currently searching for the Envious Assassin and Target Lock roll. Strand is a permanent overcharge fixture this season in a lot of activities, so with 25% extra damage it seems foolish not to abuse it. This goes for the Quicksilver Storm. This got given to most of us last season as part of the pre-order, but it's only now with the Catalyst that its full destructive power is realized. Its intrinsic trait is Rocket Tracers. Landing multiple hits turns the next shot into a homing rocket. Its trait is called Grenade Chaser. Landing multiple rockets loads a grenade. We can hold up to 3 of these at a time. You'll hold down reload to switch this to a pump action fire mode. But it's the Catalyst that steps it up again. Not only has this gone from kinetic damage to strand damage, but final blows with the grenade will create tangles. And tangles, they are awesome. Into the Fray will grant us Woven Mail, that 60% resistance bump whilst aerial, and the artifact mod Threaded Blast will do you one better. Destroying a tangle with a strand weapon creates a larger and more damaging explosion. Couple that with Untangler, destroying a tangle with a strand weapon suspends targets damaged by the explosion. And when you're rattling off round after round after round, you'll be getting one of these nukes every 10 seconds. Allied Unraveling, rapid final blows with a strand weapon will grant your weapon unraveling rounds, with a longer duration when near allies. This timer goes up to a staggering 23 seconds, which just seems surreal, but it also gets refreshed on kills. For the Titan itself, we're going to be kitting out for gunplay. The Shackle Grenade will suspend our foes, making everything easier to shoot, but it's the ability to unstop champs that is a massive draw card. On top of that, it's an easy way to take care of anti-barrier champs, as it's hard for them to put up a shield when they become a sodomy puppet. Drinker's Lash will also be offering us the same suspension ability, but this happens when we chuck down our barricade and a little spike goes out there and will suspend them. I'd recommend using the Rally Barricade on Strand, as we want to start pumping out those bullets into our enemies the moment they become suspended. It'll also help out your squads. You might never have to reload, but it will definitely increase their reload speed. Thread of Continuity increases the duration for Suspend, Unravel, and Sever effects. Suspend is granted an additional 3 seconds, which on a large health bar enemy really does help tremendously. The Unravel buff is a little bit harder to gauge. It's not an extension of the timer, rather it's an extension of the lifespan of the Unravel particles. It's honestly very difficult to discern this, but everything does feel a lot more green for sure. The Sever debuff, however, is visible by the green glow on the enemy itself and jumps from a 4-second debuff to a massive 13 seconds. We'll also be utilising the Sever debuff via Thread of Isolation. Landing rapid precision hits emits a severing burst from the target. This poor fool has to run away because he knows he couldn't hurt me even if he tried. Thread of Propagation powered melee final blows grants your strand weapons unraveling rounds. This works for 7 seconds. Not only are we going to be applying Sever via our melee, but the unraveling rounds make close encounters feel safer and they're over faster. Thread of Rebirth, strand weapon final blows have a chance to create threadlings. Now it's hard to spot these often amongst the chaos, but it's nice knowing there's some little minions out there amongst it helping you win the fight. Now that we covered off our subclass, I wanted to circle back to some weapons. For LMG builds, I'll often be running double special builds, and the Witherhoard is a sound pick in the kinetic slot. Not only is it stronger thanks to the kinetic buff that came with Lightfall, it's got excellent ammo economy, as at the most you'll be firing this off every 5 seconds, making it hard pressed to get through your reserves. And whenever you use a double special build, you're going to find that heavy spawns more frequently, allowing you to use your LMG much like a primary. It'll also be a great source of making orbs, which we're going to maximize to full effect with Volatile Flow. Picking up an Orb of Power grants your void weapons volatile rounds. Now this ain't as broken as those brief few weeks that the retrofit escapade reigned supreme, but with orbs all over the show this has almost become a full-time effect, making it very potent. And with the effect lasting 14 seconds, it's quite easy to make this work over a damage phase. So pick your favourite void weapon and go nuts. I've been really enjoying the Glacier Chasm of late, but honestly, all weapons work well here. I would highly recommend Shatter Orbs. The first time you break a combatant's shield, you create an Orb of Power if you break a shield with a matching damage type. And sometimes you get that shield break mechanic where all of them break at once, which just pumps out multiple orbs with one shot. For our mods, you're going to want Siphon mods. We use this to fuel our Surge for a 10% damage bump. This 10% Surge bump on top of our Unraveling rounds, our Volatile Flow, and us matching the common weekly Surges, this build will just chew through all that stand before us. We're going to be double stacking our reserves, as in many ways our LMG weapon is both our primary and our heavy. And this will ensure that we have enough rounds to continuously fire across a 30-second damage window. Now there are some exotic outliers here, like the Grand Overture can't increase its reserves. I believe from memory the Xeno only needs one mod to max that out, but if you're running a legendary LMG I would highly recommend double mods. I'm also going to be double stacking Time Dilation to up its armor charge to 18 seconds. Now if you like something else in this slot you can get away with one. I chose two as I wanted not only to extend my surge window as much as possible, but also for the Font of Endurance. This way I could move around some stat mods for 100 discipline whilst also keeping 100 resilience whilst I have an armor charge. Anyway my damies, that is the build for today. I'll leave a dim in the description below. Like if you liked, comment down below if you got any questions or suggestions, and until next time, tippy time my damies, what a tie.